Okay, so it seems like there has been even more drama surrounding the whole Bao situation. Now, this one has blown up quite a bit lately, especially over on Twitter, as many corners of the VTubing space have been discussing it, right? Because if you don't know, obviously Bao has recently kind of face revealed, and this has kind of kickstarted a big kind of confusion among VTuber fans as to whether she is still a VTuber anymore, or if she is planning to switch to IRL content. Now, of course, yeah, as I said, the majority of her posts are kind of IRL posts now. As I said, it's like more of like a 90 to like 10 split. Like there's less actual VTuber stuff. And it seems like as well, actually, wait, just realizing it, she did actually repost a bunch of VTuber art, but I'm not seeing it anymore, unless they, maybe because they split, oh, I think they split it up, that's why. But from her actual posts from her herself, you can see that all of these are pretty much IRL videos, right? Which has people very, very confused because obviously she used to have VTuber in her bio, but that changed yesterday whenever a lot of people pointed out the fact that she started VTuber in her bio, and she ended up changing it to just something random, right? Which I think is pretty interesting because obviously it says a lot about the content and the direction that she's going, because yeah, like it seems like she's not going to be continuing VTubing as much, right? Because you wouldn't remove it if you weren't, you know, if you were still going to be a VTuber, right? So obviously many people were confused, many people were angry, many people happy also that maybe she's leaving, which has been very interesting to see. Obviously, there's been one post here saying, I have no reason as to why, I have many reasons as to why I personally dislike Bao, and even with that, I see no issue with her swapping to IRL. She can do what she wants, guys. Why are we making such a big deal out of this, lol? Creators swapping and expanding upon their content isn't a bad thing. So people are holding a grievance over past statements, purity testers who treat showing your IRL self as a taboo, which again, you know, that might be it. But I also think as well, it's more so, I think, the using of a VTuber kind of tagging things while also posting IRL content, right? I think it's totally okay if Bao wants to go and do IRL content, right? I think that if she wants to make that switch and do it, that's fine. And potentially there could be a reason behind that due to the amount of backlash that she's gotten in the VTuber space now. And it seems like maybe she's trying to kind of run away from it, right? But of course, yeah, if she wants to go and switch to IRL content and actually claim to be a IRL creator, then I think that's fine. I think the issue that people have was obviously the IRL content while also saying that you're a VTuber, which obviously people have an issue with even outside of Bao, right? So yeah, of course, that is something that's been pretty interesting. Of course, as well, like posts like this, for example, is what kind of sets a lot of people off. Literally any kind of post of her face, it seems to kind of garner a lot of attention. Obviously, some from other VTubers saying, you know, stuff about her, but mainly a lot of people only quotes obviously saying game really entire EL space leaves. So yeah, obviously it's quite funny. The VTubing saying being wrong is one thing, being too narcissistic and egotistical to admit it, then doubling down and tripling down until you look stupid is another. Cinder was right about you, which again has been a very popular topic as well. The Cinder stuff, obviously, you know, if you remember, obviously they had beef during the entire thing. And of course, yeah, a lot of people say like Cinder was right now, which I think is quite funny. To be honest, I'm not sure if I get the context, but are people mad about because she makes more IRL content and less VTuber content? Aren't you watching a streamer because their personality and skills? So why does it matter if she's both? She is the streamer. She can decide what she wants and what she does, which I think is, you know, it's interesting. But of course, I don't know if anybody has responded to this. So from what I have seen, people are mad that she's created a lot of VTuber drama, then became a face content creator as if putting a house on fire and dipping. At least that's the most common statement that I've seen. Saying exactly, people making a big deal out of nothing, saying let chuds be chuds and just block them, that she's eroding the culture of VTubing by doing IRL content, which, yeah, as I say, amazed there wasn't a link to an OF/Fansly, saying, Bao, I'm so happy for you that you've gained the confidence to face post. However, I'm afraid I'm going to have to revoke your VTuber card. Even in the comments, many are suggesting you make a different account for these posts. I'll expect your badge and VTuber score going on my desk by the end of the day. Which, yeah, I mean, that's pretty, yeah, that's right. So I must admit, she does prove that VTubing was just a grift. So yeah, obviously, as you can tell, it seems like some people kind of want like a different account for the IRL post, but honestly, as I said, it just seems like she's going to be fully diving into the IRL content stuff now, especially with that change on her bio, which will be very, very interesting. Of course, as I said, it continues literally any kind of IRL content. As you can see, say, behold, the VTuber who doesn't do VTubing, you might as well just rebrand at this point if you're going to spam your real face all over your brand. Then how do you describe a piece? Oh, this is a different thing. So Bao is a normal streamer now. Gone are the days of the lewd whale lady. Then you really just going to keep flash posting from now on, not interested. And it seems like as well, some like genuine fans, like obviously I know a lot of people that have been going after Bao don't like Bao, and that's okay, right? Obviously she's been involved in a lot of things, which I think, you know, it's fair enough if you dislike her over that. But it seems like a lot of her fans as well are also disappointed because they are like VTuber fans, and they're watching her do IRL content now, and they're not really interested anymore, because they obviously followed her for being a VTuber, right? Obviously some people did kind of, what do you call it, support her though. It honestly depends person to person, but I think a lot of people would have preferred her to stay doing VTubing, right? Even if they are like, whether they're a fan or whether they're not a fan, right? I think it's both sides saying that. Saying she's still making the wide facial expression like she's on VTuber Studio. So yeah, obviously pretty interesting to say, get back on the calories, the new US straight whack. That's crazy. And again, honestly, you know, a lot of the people, as we talked about in the last video, have been making comments about her appearance and things like that, which of course, you know, I don't really dive into that. It's not really relevant to the points that we're making. I think that there is much more, you know, compelling arguments to be making about this, and obviously, yeah, I just don't think it really matters. But obviously that has been something as well that's been flooding the page. Obviously, this was one of the posts that kind of kick-started a lot of this as well, saying with how much Bao's been doing IRL stuff with multiple face reveals without using an avatar, she's removed her VTuber label from her profile. Now it only exists on her @tag. After all the Cinder drama, the Skeb drama, and the Misandry drama, recently this might be the move to rebrand herself, as evidently the simp audience has fallen for her IRL appearance. Which, yeah, I mean, as I said, it's not a bad move, to be honest, right? You know, you can dislike Bao, you can dislike her doing IRL content, you can dislike her using the VTuber name or whatever. But I think that, you know, overall, as like a strategy for her content, I don't think it's the worst of moves, because obviously, as I said, it seems that she's very much disliked anyways. So, you know, she's trying to kind of get out of that, I guess. So yeah, so she's she's going for the same bag extra Emily has been getting. I'll give Bao this. She seems much more intelligent than Emily, though. Though Emily's whole grift is to act like a toddler. So who actually knows? So the Bao Empire is falling. Cinder won, which is interesting. The IMO, they are both bad people. Snakes throwing stones at each other inside a glass house. Saying the Kirk Sims are crashing out over the Fave E blank. So yeah, saying yeah, everyone in this thread are weird and creepy. Saying they live in a world of delusion where they think that women can do no wrong. Their opinions are always correct, and as long as they are a feminist ally, they will get someday get action. So let's be honest, she has had a pretty negative reputation, but and always seems to get involved in some kind of drama. I also don't think she's really grown that much over the past year. It feels like VTubing was more of a grift for her, and now that it isn't working as well, she's pivoting towards IRL content. Also, can we address her posting her own fan-made thirst trap edits, which is incredibly cringe, which, yeah, I do agree was quite cringe. But they're saying her Sims are gassing her up, and I think in the end it's going to ruin her career as a content creator. I could be wrong. Will it ruin her career as a content creator? I don't know. It honestly depends, like in the sense of if she kind of links up with some popular IRL content creators and stuff like that, I think it'll be fine, right? I don't think like, you know, her career is going to be done. It honestly just depends how much she can kind of collab with people in the similar space. But if she keeps making content and kind of like on her own and with her kind of, you know, close friend group, whatever, then maybe, you know, things could get a little bit rough. But as I said, you'd have to see, right? So yeah, obviously it is pretty interesting to see a lot of the kind of comments and stuff from this, because yeah, many people have many different opinions about this situation as it continues to blow up and continues to have quite a big effect on the VTubing space at the moment. But yeah, that's essentially all there is for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code Kazo, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.